Why, hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, shit elephants of all ages. Welcome to DnDTime Brews. I'm one of your hosts, the notorious Jerme, and I am joined by my co-host, Peter. How you
I'm
doing?
your other host, the botany boy, Pete. That's it, Pete. I'm doing all right.
Welcome to DnDTime Brews, everyone.
Happy Father's Day out there, y'all. Today is El Dia de los Padres. That's
shit.
only in Spain, though.
I don't languages. Welcome everyone. Yes, if happy Father's Day to any of you fathers out there.
Or if you have a father, happy Father's Day to you as well.
Go tell them right now that Pete and I say happy Father's. Don't give them any context. Just tell them
immediately.
A man named Pete and another man named Jeremy want to wish you a happy Father's Day. And then walk away. And just, let it roll. It's part of the wondrous joy of sudden peculiarities. But yeah,
and Mr. Plunderloot, always with your obscure knowledge of alcohols, putting myself and Jeremy to shame on our brews-related show. But tonight I am drinking a Sam's Summer Ale. According to this label, it is a wheat ale brewed with lemon peel and grains of paradise. So that's pretty good. It's good. It's classic. Jeremy, what you got?
I'm drinking a rum with some Coke.
The old rum and Coke. What kind of rum are you rocking tonight?
Still the same old Sailor Jerry's. Nice, simple rum.
I didn't know if you were on your Kraken grind.
No, I'm not doing anything too fancy. Well, drinking's bad for you, the flannel pug. It's all good. Like, this is the only time I drink is literally for this show.
I drink more often than this. And I won't have a liver ever. So I don't recommend it. That's an hard exaggeration about how much I drink. I don't really drink that much, guys.
Anywho, for those that aren't familiar, welcome to DnDTime Brews. This is a roughly 2-hour live stream. Pete and I do basically 2 Sundays a month. We do 2 Sundays of brews and then 2 Sundays of delves, kind of swapping off. But tonight we are going to be doing what we do every time here on DnDTime Brews. We're going to sit around, hang out with you guys, El Chato. That is definitely not correct. I apologize for appropriating your language, Spanish-speaking people. And we're going to homebrew some cool character options for Pete and Jeremy's D&D time. This week, we're specifically focusing on race and sub-race options, namely the Floran, who are cool plant folk. So we're going to be looking at like fungal Floran and like a tree folk variant.
Flower one.
Yeah, a flower kind of variant.
A floral Floran.
A floral Floran. And maybe even just kind of a more, I know there was some talk of a more generic Floran, something like just kind of an herbal Floran. Maybe you grow little like fruits or berries or something on you. That would be neat.
A fruit Floran. I'm so into all of these. But I saw a couple of people in chat. We had
flower.
We had Max Mikester mentioned it. I think Plunder said a little while ago, talking about bug people. Bug people are actually on the docket. That'll probably be in like one of the upcoming round of races we do. I don't know if we'll do necessarily races again next time we do it. We might switch back and try our hand at other subclasses, but we'll see where the future takes us.
Yeah, basically, we are going to just kind of go through here and do what we think people would like. And if people tell us they specifically want something else, like there's a lot of outcry here, we must have bug people. You know what? Maybe we'll have some bug people sooner than later. But
that is how bun buns came to be.
That's how the bunny folk. There aren't bun buns. We did not go with the name bun buns.
I believe we went with bunny folk. Yes, or was it bunnykin?
It's bunny folk, and they speak bunnish.
Bunny folk. Yes. And that was caused by a very small, very vocal Nick the Emperor. That's very good.
What are we about to unleash from the lands of D&D time, Pete?
I guess a
Emperor.
I have no idea.
I
think we know.
dangerous emperor. Uh,
I'm sure I can make lots of marijuana jokes, but I will.
Oh, that's good.
I
I'm
will
proud of you.
hold back. So you want to just start talking about? We'll start talking about kind of where we left off last time.
Yeah. So I have what we had last time is up on the screen right now. We had a name, the Floran. Pete and I really liked that. But again, everything here is pending. You know, if some better name comes up, we roll with that. But we determined that as sub races go, they're going to have a +2 to their primary stat, and then a +1 probably that varies based on their sub race. So we decided the +2 would probably be Constitution. Makes sense. Plants are hardy. They're generally a little more durable. And then that extra +1 will probably vary depending on the sub race. The flower folk probably going to have charisma. Just kind of makes sense. Maybe the tree folk might have maybe strength. I can't really. Maybe wisdom. That
I was thinking wisdom would be a very fungal thing. It could be both. Could be for both.
Yeah, I mean we can figure it out. I'm not too.
Yeah, we'll go through.
Yeah, I mean we'll see what people think, right? If people are like, oh yeah, tree, because we also have to think, right, of what kind of classes we see these races excelling at. For example, like, do you see a tree folk excelling at being like a wizard? Probably not. I don't see tree people running around casting fireballs too much. I mean, if we have one, awesome, but probably no int there.
But a tree folk barbarian, I can absolutely get behind.
I also can.
They got that con bonus and then maybe strength. Anyway, we'll see. Actually, Jeremy, I actually need to just step away for about 1 second. I think I got something going on. So you handle things for a second, and I'll be right back.
Pew pew. Oh god, I'm on fire. Exactly, Flintlepug. Your fireball accidentally sets you on fire, and that's just rough. Rolling over what we also talked about last time, we determined a size of medium. So one of the things that we need to kind of homogenize, we need to consider with the Floran plant folk subrace is how monstrous are these creatures, right? Versus how like humanoid, because obviously they are humanoids. That is the race that all playable races are humanoids. There's no kind of getting around that. So what do they look like? Are these kind of, for folks familiar with, and I wasn't familiar with these guys until just today, actually. For those familiar with Guild Wars, are these more like the Sylvari, like Dryad kind of people? Or are these more like Weepin' Bells, you know, like, or something from Pokemon? And I think that's another really important question to consider, right? Are these Twig Blights or are these Dryad? What do these guys look like? And I think because we need to stick with that humanoid kind of vibe, we're looking more along the Dryad kind of side of things. They're human, basically. They have very green skin. Maybe they have like leaves and vines and stuff that grow off of them. But for the most part, they probably, maybe a little more natural than human. But I think we need to realize before we dive too deep into here that that's what we're looking at, a very human-looking creature. Because when we're looking at plant creatures, there are all sorts of different ones in Dungeons and Dragons, right? There are Vegapygmies, which are basically just big jumbles of vine-like creatures. There are Woodwoads, which are humanoid creatures that are they look like tree stumps, basically, with arms and legs. There are actual tree ants, which you all know what a tree ant looks like, I hope. There are creatures of all sorts of different, and of course there are the dryads. So yeah, we're doing the dryad size. Welcome back, Pete.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just
all good.
Quick thing I had to check out. Did you talk about the abilities that we'd already some of the stuff we'd already created yet for them?
No. So with the Floran race, we determined that we were going to create a base race that had a very, very light set of features, mostly ribbons. For those unfamiliar with the term, a ribbon is a very non-mechanically impactful, very flavorful ability that a race has that can help to pull all of the sub races together, but don't directly impact power. So our main Floran race is going to very much follow the kind of, I think it's the elf, or it's the dwarf, isn't it? Yeah, the dwarf model, which I have right here, of having relatively unimpactful core abilities and then very impactful racial abilities like dwarven toughness and armor. So yeah, Pete, you want to talk about some of the abilities we came up with?
Let's talk about some of the ribbons. And a lot of the times also, ribbons are a great way to make sure that you can really give any kind of race or any kind of class that you're putting a ribbon on. It lets you kind of realize what you want the idea of the race to be without impacting power level is the key thing. And so pretty much everything we have here falls into that category. So first off, they get a cantrip, and that cantrip is that they know the Druidcraft cantrip. And if you don't know what Druidcraft is, it's a pretty simple cantrip that allows, it's sort of like a Druid's version of Prestidigitation or Thaumaturgy. It allows you to do simple things like know what the weather is going to be. It allows you to make like a seed kind of bloom very quickly. It allows you to kind of like, grow. For example, it would allow a Floran in theory, if you're playing maybe a flower Floran, you could grow flowers on your body to, emphasize a moment or to give to people. And it just sort of, it's just meant to represent their general tie with nature. They are, naturally predisposed to be able to do some of these simple natural things. I think you can also create like a few sensory effects, like a puff of wind or
they're fairly minor,
small
though.
flame.
You can snuff out a lighter can. Oh, yeah, you can light it.
Yes.
You can light or snuff it. Anything campfire or small campfire, even. A big campfire is too big.
You'd have to light a small piece of a newspaper and then use that to light a bigger campfire. So yeah, that's the Druidcraft cantrip. It seems like it's a pretty, I think, obvious include for the Floran. It just completely fits in every aspect, the aesthetic of kind of these humanoid plant hybrids. The next was one that we kind of went back on a couple different things for a little bit as we were bouncing around, but we ended up on this ability to represent photosynthesis. And what we decided on is if the Floran spends at least 8 hours per day in direct sunlight, they do not require food for that day, which is strictly flavor. That is almost never going to come up in a game. Maybe if you're like trekking across the desert, the Floran will be in better shape than most people, but they'll still require water. So it's going to be that's pretty strictly a ribbon. That's almost the definition. But then they also have this ability. When you take a short rest in direct sunlight, you gain a number of hit points equal to 1d6 plus your level. And Jeremy, what were you going to say? Sorry,
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm glad you finished. Basically, we're also considering that Pete and I are designing this for DnDTime. We're not designing this as necessarily an overarching, anyone playing any game of Dungeons and Dragons, this is going to be great. Well, no, we're designing for what we do. So that ability is almost never going to be majorly impactful here in DnDTime. It's purely an aesthetic flavor choice. Whereas, like he was saying, in a campaign that's like super desert centric, that ability might be OP, might be just absolutely broken. It just doesn't. It's not that way for us, basically.
Yeah. Even the kind of second part, which has a lot more mechanical implications, giving you an extra bonus when you take a short rest in direct sunlight, then that is something that's not really even going to come up in DnDTime. I think in the time that we've been running DnDTime, I've seen a short rest happen in one of our adventures. I mean, we can count the times, I think, on our hands.
Yeah, yeah, we can. I think they've been almost entirely my adventures, too.
In retrospect, Jeremy, I was thinking about this ability over the week, and I think we need to put a caveat on that they can only gain that extra benefit once per long rest. Because as it is, you could just take 8 short rests instead of a long rest and just get all your health without spending hit dice, which I think was implied. That was what we meant, was for it to be once a day. It just doesn't say it.
Yeah, all right. So once per day when you take a short rest.
Yeah.
Cool. And Farco, I see you're saying in chat fire vulnerability. I mean, we could, but like, I really hate races that penalize you in an extreme way. And fire vulnerability, and like giving them fire vulnerability, we would have to make them so ridiculously powerful to make up for that. And that kind of munchkining is just not what we're about here at the There are definitely certain tables where like that's really cool. Taking that huge drawback for a huge benefit, tons of fun. But that's just exactly. Like that's got a home, but our game isn't that place.
I'm 100% on the same page as Jeremy there. As well, like even when we were originally talking about races, we kind of ruled out things, for example, like the kobold and the orc as templates because we just don't like that they get penalties. It's just something that we're going to probably avoid. We want to walk a very conservative kind of middle line with most of the races that we make. Make them very flavorful and cool, but not take a lot of risks in terms of power levels. I think going to be our overall philosophy.
Well, it's interesting actually. Thunderloot saying that they're not vulnerable to fire. They actually are in 5e. Trees are vulnerable to fire damage. I'm with you. Like, in actuality, a living tree is not vulnerable to fire, but Dungeons and Dragons works in mysterious ways. Well, let's move on to our last little ribbon here. That is regrowth. Over the course of a long rest, you can choose to regrow any missing limbs and grow simple, natural clothing. This is absolutely a ribbon in our game. There are certain settings where like limb loss and stuff is, and that kind of brutal reality is going to happen, where players will like lose limbs over the course of brutal adventures, and this might actually be a really powerful ability. That's not our case here. If a character dies, Bartholomew resurrects them for free. So this is just like disabilities in there, really, just in case you want to be that guy who like, I intentionally do something to get my arm ripped off, like
which is exactly my first thought too.
Someone's gonna do that. My arm and use it as bait. Like, okay, sure. If that's
and the clothing thing is fun.
Yeah, and the clothing thing's just fun. It's just a cool way of you get a little bit of free glamour. Wink. But yeah, pretty good. Rename the cantrip to flower power. I super dig that. I'm gonna do that right now, Farku.
Do it up.
It's a good name. Escape cutting your arm. Yeah, escape resistance cutting your arm off. Very powerful. I rip off my arm and use it as a projectile. Very nice, I love it. But anyway, all of our core abilities are ribbons right now. We actually haven't given flowers any core ability that isn't a ribbon. And maybe that's a problem, maybe it's not. What do you think?
And that's gonna largely depend, I think, on where our sub races end up and how much we want to do with them. And I think before we go back, I think it might be a good idea to feel like we've created an identity for the sub races and then look at the power level from there.
Yeah, so we have this very core Floran class right now. We gave them Sylvan as their language. Kind of makes sense. So we're gonna just copy these guys. We're gonna move over to this new table here and paste everything on. And we're gonna start working on subrace number 1. And what are we gonna call subrace number 1?
Want to start with the trees? I think that's the most straightforward of them.
Yeah, let's go with tree folk. So I guess our first question, let's look at an existing race, right? Let's tune into our dwarves, because that was kind of our template we were looking at. And we look at the hill dwarf and the mountain dwarf. They both have all the same base racial abilities. The only real meaningful feature they get in terms of like power effectiveness they get is dark vision and resistance to poison and poison damage as a dwarf main race. And let's look at
the advantage on the saves against it.
Yeah, which is actually pretty big. Poison damage is a fairly it comes up a lot, indeed.
Yeah.
So let's look at what these two races get. One of them gets, this is a hill dwarf, gets an additional 1 hit point every time they level up. Basically, their hit die is 1 higher, so they're a lot sturdier, and a +1 to an ability score. Cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And at 20 more health at level 20. Okay. And the other one gets Dwarven Armor Training, proficiency with light and medium armor. All right, that's like, that can be really good. Kind of depends on what your class is. And a +2 to an ability score,
Which is significant.
So let's jump over to our Floran Subrace 1. Let's talk about their ability score increase, Pete. What do we want to give these guys, tree folk?
I was thinking strength.
So, Flunder arguing for another +1 to con. We're just going to go +3 Constitution. I actually am not opposed to that if that's a direction we want to go. Just for the sole purpose of no attacks are based on con. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't want to do it, but
it does allow. See, I guess the thing I don't like about it is that it allows an 18 in. I guess it's con, which is not
attack stat, right? This would make a really unique racial option that probably doesn't matter hugely unless you're playing that barbarian who just runs in and like, I never die, which could be really cool.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking, because my first instinct naturally, because it's just never been done, was kind of like,
but because
absolutely
of Constitution, I think we could do it.
I mean, what's the fun of making a sub race by ourselves if we don't take some risks every once in a while? I'm down to say +3 con. I think that's cool.
You know what? All right, we're gonna put that on there.
Yeah, if we change our minds, I think strength is a good fallback.
Strength fallback. Now, Pete, what if we take this the dwarf direction and don't give them anything else and give them a +4 to con? No, I'm just kidding. Just
no. my response is
ask me, guys, in chat. Once I'm finished with this drink, then mention that. It'll happen. All right, so we're going to get rid of that highlight. We're going to go with a total of +3 Constitution. I think that's really neat. This is not going to appeal to everyone, but it also means that our tree folk are just as good wizards, as warlocks, as sorcerers, as bards, and really great barbarians.
Yeah, they're very good barbarians.
They're still great spellcasters, right? Because high Constitution means not failing their concentration check. So, not too bad.
We just really quick, we got to make sure that this isn't, well, as we're going through, we got to make sure that 3 con isn't going to make them too effective at barbarians. But my instant thought is also that if you're doing that, then you're only taking a +2 to hit in your primary stat. So you're just going very heavily defensive.
They're going to be very good with barbarians, but I think that's fine.
I don't think I don't think they're better than other things are at barbarians. They're just a good barbarian.
I like this game. I dig it.
Size medium.
I think size medium is a good size for tree folk. What do you guys think in chat? A different type of fruit. Interesting. Okay, so we're talking about fruit stuff. Are these fruit-bearing trees? I don't think they're fruit-bearing trees. I
mean, you could probably druid craft a piece of fruit off your branches if you wanted to. I think we could already do that.
Craft for. I super dig it. How long do trees live?
A long time.
Okay, so we're gonna say I like this and live up to 2,500 years. So you're really old if you really want to.
I'm into not reaching adulthood for like a couple hundred too.
Yeah, you reach adulthood at age like 600. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 250.
Yeah, that sounds better. So at age 250, that doesn't even make really sense though, because trees can grow in like 50 years pretty easily.
But actually, let me also throw this out there, because this is a subrace of the Floran, and do we want there to be that huge of a discrepancy between, say, like, a floral Floran and a tree Floran? Because it seems weird that, like, a tree Floran, because that would almost make them feel like two different races, like they weren't even the same thing anymore.
You know, that's a really great point to consider. And I think that's something for us to really think about, because right now, a subrace is a very close relative. All subraces are very close relatives in Dungeons and Dragons, the way they're currently set up. But with Thunder like 600 feet.
I mean, I'm into like variety based on the subrace, and I like the idea that the tree folk ones have more kind of longevity. But I feel like,
well,
I don't. It just feels like they wouldn't all be Florans. Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could certainly be different races, but I think the fact that we're looking at what flower power, druid calf cantrip, these kind of things are going to be universal anyway, right? Except regrowth might not make sense on like a 2,000-year-old tree. You know, how about right? We say reach adulthood. What if they reach adulthood relatively early and they just live forever?
And then they can live. I feel like if we're going to build out the lore for this race, that a tree folk Floran, I feel like a tree folk Floran eventually just becomes a tree.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Because we're talking about that ability rooted, which allows them to take root into the ground and like prevent them from being knocked over, and maybe some other effect. And then I picture like a tree folk Floran in the lore of the world would someday just root and never unroot and just become part of the landscape.
So reach adulthood by age like 12 sound like a good idea to you? That sounds all right?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of how long does it take like a tree to grow. Let me just Google it on another tab so I don't accidentally put something terrible up on this Twitch chat. How long?
In my own personal experience, the maple tree in my yard was planted when I was born, and by the time I was 18, it was about as big as it ever has been.
10 to 15 years is what it says. So, yeah, I think 12 is good. So reach adulthood by age 10 to 15. I like that. And can live up to 2,500 years. I'm going to add what if we say up to 4,500 years? It makes it really old.
An old tree, just an ancient.
Yeah.
I mean, what can it hurt?
Yeah.
And I like that, because then I think keeping that kind of slightly earlier maturity will make it feel like they can still be part of this race. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, right. And most tree folk Floran take root sometime around age, 1,500, 2,000?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking even earlier. I was thinking like around 100 or 600 or something like that.
I like that. Okay, what's the elf age, right? Elves live around.
Yeah, 600? I think elves are about 600. That's why I threw that out there.
Their environment. So I love this, right? And become permanent facets of their environment. I actually really like that text. That sounds really nice. King of all Florans, the Emperor. I love the Emperor.
Can I actually throw one more change out on this? I know we're spending a lot of time on age now. Instead of 4,500 years, I almost feel like I would just and can live for thousands of years. I would rather keep it vague, and then it's just kind of there's probably ones that are even older than that. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? How long is an eon? Is an eon 1,000 years? Oh no, it's indefinite.
I do not know.
It isn't. Millennium is 2,000 years, right? Millennia is 2,000 years?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Right?
Plunder's saying 1,000 years is an aeon.
Is it really 1,000 years? No, millennium.
I'm looking it up. Yeah, I'm looking it up, and it's saying a unit of time equal to 1 billion years is an aeon.
Yeah, no, millennium is 1,000. Because this is the second millennium in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah. The forgotten one's got me there. Millennium is 1,000. So, you know what? And most tree folk Floran take root sometime during their first millennium. I love this. Oh, let me just not copy paste.
This is a cool race. I want to play this race.
Permanent facets of their environment. I really love that. I love that idea. Yeah. And I love the idea, right, of maybe you're this weird Floran that's, and I'm sure we're gonna get like almost all of our Floran are gonna be all of our tree folk Floran. Like, yeah, I'm like 8,000 years old. I don't know. I just never took root, man. But you know what? That's cool. That's awesome. I love that.
Nothing's gonna hold me down.
And people are naturally drawn to the outliers, and so like I'm okay that most people are gonna be sticking with those. Yeah, they've 10 eons a long time.
Well, it's the outliers that always end up becoming adventures. It's the outliers that make the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're digging. I think it's gonna be really cool. And one of the best things about being an incredibly long-lived race like this, right, is maybe you are some like, can't commit, dude. Fuck you. Maybe you're some ancient old tree folk. You've been alive for like 4,000 years wandering the forest, and you've only just run into civilization. You've just found it for the first time. And that can still explain why you're kind of still out of touch, right? Why you don't know everything in existence. Why you're a level 1 adventurer.
Cool.
Or you're a punk-ass bitch. Can't tie me down. Awesome. I super dig this.
I'm into it too.
I love
alignment.
Alignments. I think that's great. I think that makes perfect sense for this race. And I love the unprovoked statement here, right? Because the implication is, why are you out doing things that affect these grand conflicts? Well, because you have been provoked. And that gives you something to build off. Yeah, I mean, Oldman with Wizard Face was in someone's basement for 400 years. Exactly, Brian. People can live for a long time. Race, size. So they're going to be definitely taller and heavier than humans. How tall do we think tree folk get?
A tree folk, Floran, I imagine slender and maybe 7.5, maybe even 8.
Yeah, so
big boy.
Over 7 feet.
Yeah.
Averaging probably weigh a shitload.
Yeah. I have no frame of reference for how much, like, the density of wood and how much a 7-foot tall person made out of wood would weigh, but I imagine if I could just throw a random number out, I would say like 400 pounds, 500 pounds.
Yeah, I think we can leave that at like 500 and weighing over 500.
And weighing the scientifically correct amount that you would expect something made of wood to weigh at that size.
Well, we said well over 7 feet tall, Farku, so 8 to 9 is totally cool. Or you can be the one small tree folk and be like only 6, and be like, I'm the runt, as you tower over your party of halfling companions.
And I picture them as still being medium because they're like very kind of, I imagine they're very kind of like slender and sort of solid, but
they're also under 10 feet.
Yeah. Oh, is that what medium is by definition for a race?
It was in 4th edition. I don't think they're quite as specific in 5e. But,
which is great. Which works for our purposes perfectly.
If you were long, horizontal, or tall, and you surpassed 10 feet, you were considered large. Same kind of goes for like a giant constrictor snake is a huge creature because it's longer than 15 feet. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I like this. I think this is really cool. I really dig what we got going on here. And averaging over 500 pounds. I think this is a little vague, going with over 500 pounds. But I think it's fine.
Yeah. We can maybe figure that out a little bit more.
I'm okay with it being a little vague, though, because the age differential is so huge. You can speak Groot. I don't.
I
Well, you know what,
am the Emperor.
Maybe that's what Sylvan is. Cool. So let's look at their abilities. We got flower power. Cool. Photosynthesis. Cool. Regrowth. Cool. And what else do these guys got? Well, they probably have a bark skin.
That's what I was thinking too, a natural armor.
Now, I don't want to use the term bark skin because bark skin is a spell and that like can make confusion with people. Do we have a better word than bark skin?
What does bark skin do?
Bark skin sets your armor class to 15, I believe. I might be mistaken.
Just give them bark skin.
Their skin is barky. Yeah, we could just give them bark skin. Actually, that's not a terrible idea.
Target's AC can't be less than 16.
16. The one qualm I have with that is it could lead to some really funky dump stats. To like,
yeah.
Well, at the same time though, I don't see a tree folk being super dexterous.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I guess the issue with that is like,
I mean, that's pretty powerful. Just
yeah. What's the turtle one? Is that 17 that they get?
Yeah, but they cannot wear armor.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah, no, it's. I believe it's 7. Which that's very powerful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, natural armor is 17.
I guess the thing about bark skin is it's weak on the thing that we've kind of pigeonholed them as their strongest area, which is being a barbarian. But then it makes them a very good like spellcaster because they're just a very high AC spellcaster.
Yeah, well, actually, honestly, I don't think that makes them particularly bad barbarian. And the reason I say that, right, is because you don't get a racial bonus to dex, you just dump stat your dex and put your 16 that you get from standard array into strength. And then your 15s in con plus your con bonus from being a tree folk, and you're still a pretty good barbarian.
And it's powerful on other things for sure.
Yeah, and I think that really opens the door for other races. But you know what? I like that idea. I'm okay with using like the terminology in Barks.
I think I'm cool with it too.
So I'm going to copy and paste verbatim the text. Oh, it's all bold. Oh, it's still bold. Your skin has a rough bark-like appearance, and your AC can't be less than 16, regardless of what kind of armor you are wearing. I like that, because you can still wear armor. So it's a little worse than the turtle. Well, it's a little better than the turtle, but it's lower AC.
Yes, but
if it's plate armor, it's got the option.
Yeah, well, I actually don't think like the armor drawback. I don't like that you can't wear armor drawback because it's just like it makes them better at being a fighter. Yeah. Like if you want to be your heavy armor like paladin or something.
Double damage. I mean, man, Plunder, I like the idea of axes do double damage, but man, how much would it suck to be like, I'm ready for my level 4 boss battle. Oh no, it's Axe and makes Axe thing.
That's like the Axe Man.
The lumberjack. You know, like, and then you're just very sad.
Chainsaws auto crit, yeah.
Chainsaw McGee. I replaced my arms with chainsaws. Now I'm a boss battle. Like, ooh, speaking of which, I'm gonna add
don't worry, I've lit my chainsaw on fire.
I mean, honestly, like, that could be a boss battle that I would totally run. The sideshow, he juggles flaming chainsaws and throws them at you. Like, I'd run that as a boss. So let's not totally rule this out because I'd roll with that.
I mean, I did run the gas gang where the leader, like, I did pretty close to that already.
To non-magical physical damage. Yeah, again, plunder and not plunder. Farku, the non-magical physical damage. Like, we could do that, but that's so. It's so huge.
It's very good.
I'd have to we'd have to gut everything this Floran gets to validate that.
Yeah. And then we wouldn't have room to put in a cool rooted feature, which we've decided is key to their lore. And I'm really into the whole rooted thing. Want to start working on that?
Yeah, let me move bark skin up to the front because we sort everything in alphabetical order. And let's look at rooted. Boop. So I put regrowth on here just to give me the correct template, even though I probably could have just made things bold.
Take root, maybe. Rooted seems, because they're not always rooted.
Yeah, I like that. Take root. Is take root an action or a bonus action? So for those in the chat, this is something we talked about last week. Take root is a feature that allows the tree folk to dig its roots into the ground or into whatever surface it's on and keep itself from being forced moved, right? From being thrown around or anything like that. The forgotten one. You're absolutely correct. That is, your AC cannot be less than 16. Meaning, if your dex modifier is a +2, your AC would be 10 plus your dex would be 12. So instead of 12, it's 6. The dex modifier does not stack on top of parks. So we've intentionally that phrasing is
the shield. The shield would stack.
No,
the shield wouldn't stack. Yeah.
Nope. If you have a different way of calculating your armor class, like armor, unarmored defense and barbarian, for an example, you could roll with that. Or you could take 6. This basically just says, no matter how many ways you have to calculate your AC, it is always at least 16. But yeah. So that's an important thing to note here. I don't think that requires any more text to really define. What do you think, Pete? Do you think we need to go through and add stuff to this to specify, or?
The reason I think no is because we know and we'll be the people running any game that this appears in. So I think we're fine. Yeah, and it's just the basic armor rules.
Roger, try. I'm with you. Let's take root beer. We're gonna change the spell. The ability is now take root beer. No. I love that idea though.
Very good.
Well, actually, it's interesting, right? You could grow sarsaparilla using your cantrip. You know what, Pete? Do we want to add a point to this druid calf cantrip that says you can grow minor spices using this cantrip?
Yeah, and fruits and stuff.
Yeah, you may use this cantrip to grow small quantities of fruits and spices in addition to its normal benefits. I think that's cool. I love that. Just clearly and expressly and explicitly say it. You can do this. Just in case you weren't sure. No magic lemons. Absolutely. The magic lemons all come from the ancient lemon drop. I love that, Plunder. I love that. The magic lemons are the greatest thing in D&D.
He's rooted in that. He rooted out back of Bartholomew's shop, and Bartholomew's just been taking advantage.
He's been taking all those lemons for eons. That's 1 billion years, by the way, in case you.
Nice. Man, pulling it full circle. Nicely done there, Jeremy.
You're you're welcome. Jeez. I'm getting too relaxed. Guys, you can almost start to ask me for those +4 ability scores now. Almost.
I'm just gonna go ahead and bump that right up to a +5. Get that 20 con off that in the standard array.
All right. Well, let's talk about take root. Is it an action? I think it's a bonus action, right?
I think it depends on what we end up doing with it. So is take root going to just be you can't be moved, or do we want to do other options?
I think you reduce your movement to 0.
Yes.
As a bonus action, you can reduce your movement. No, Plunder, I'm not drunk. There's no +6 ability scores on everything. Nuh-uh, not happening.
Because then, but if they did that, then they could take their 14 in con and still have a 20.
Embedding your roots in the ground around you. Can this work while you're indoors? I think it's really weird to put like a limit on this, right? Because I think in most dungeons where things are stone or outside, this is totally fine. But like there are weird situations where you're like on a flat metal plane.
Or like on a boat.
Well, I think you could do this on a boat. I think
I was just going to say on a boat, you can just kind of absorb into the wood.
There are just really rare circumstances where I think it's a little funky.
Is this more, do you think of this as being more natural or more magical? If you think of it as being more magical, okay. I think so too. Because if you're looking at it from that kind of more magical standpoint, you could justify, you just take root anywhere. You just kind of become one with the ground beneath you. But yeah, I agree that it's probably not the right way to do it.
You can reduce your movement to 0, growing and embedding roots in the ground beneath you while you are rooted. So actually, I'll just get rid of this movement to 0. As a bonus action, you may grow and embed roots in the ground beneath you while you're rooted. Your movement speed becomes 0. And do you become immune to forced movement and prone, or do you just have advantage?
I think you become immune.
That's very powerful. I think if we do that, this is the last feature of this race.
I was thinking that too.
All right.
Do you have anything? Was there anything else big that you were wanting to give this race? Because that was kind of the only two things that we had talked about, and that I don't know. I like both of them.
I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? If you guys can think of anything else that you think really fits for a Treefolk race option, hit us up. Let us know. Because at this point, I think we're looking at our final thing: immunity to forced movement and prone. So you become immune to forced movement or being knocked prone while you are conscious. Important note.
Yes.
If you fall unconscious, you still can get thrown around.
Yeah, uproot. Yeah.
Or get knocked prone. I'm sorry. This ability ends if you are knocked unconscious. There we go.
Or if you use another bonus action to end it.
Bonus action to end it. Now here's an alternate question. We stuck this on a bonus action, and I think we did that just because like we were brainstorming right now.
Yeah.
What if we said half your movement?
I like that a lot more.
Did I spell unconscious?
I was toying around with like even calling it a free action that you could do on your turn. But I think half of your movement is a lot cleaner.
Using half your movement, this ability ends if you're not unconscious or if you use half your then.
Because this is it's powerful, but it's also, it's niche use case.
Agreed.
It's very good. It's very powerful in its niche. But
well, it's also great if you're like falling, right? You can use this to save your ass.
Just catch your roots on the
on the wall next to you. Which I think is awesome. Like I'm totally in with that.
No, I'm into it too.
I really like the flavor of that. You have disadvantage of stealth because all those leaves will still make sound while moving. It's an interesting point, the forgotten one. I think like as a race, giving it disadvantage on stealth is pretty brutal.
Also, I think there's also going to be a lot of people that like, because I don't think you have to have leaves necessarily as a tree folk.
Yeah, agreed. You're not an ent, so that's something to consider. Like, I mean, some people will play them like ents, but you don't have to be an ent. You could be more like a dryad, still be on this tree folk level. Speaking of tree folk, are you guys cool with the name tree folk? That's just something I think Pete or I threw out there. Are you guys? Depends on the seasons. I love that plunder.
That's
my
funny.
God. Holy crap. How cool would it be if we gave them an ability called seasonal and it did something different? Oh, that feels like it'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
But I feel like that's horning in too much on the Eladrin.
I agree also there. And the other thing about that, I think, is we don't have time tonight to like go in and decide a bunch of different seasonal things if we want to get the other like.
We can spend as much time as we want, Pete. That's the wonder of being streamers. The more time we spend, the better. The more content we have. It's a good thing.
I mean, that's true.
I kid. I'm happy with this. I'm very proud.
I am too.
QRST. Yeah, so everything is in alphabetical order. I'm pretty happy with these abilities. +3 con. This is gonna make Switch happy. Switch, I know you might not be here right now, but last week you were telling me that you weren't happy with all of the races being +2/+1s. Well, we have a non +2/+1 now. We have +3. So
it's the rarest, the first of its kind.
In fact, it is.
Shout out to I think it was Farku who was the first one who suggested Treeflings is pretty good.
That is pretty great. Bushbacks, Treeflings, Woodies. Rip tree folk going to the Bush
Stumpies.
And
in terms of that, what you're saying, have it be a cosmetic thing. Oh, you go first.
I was just gonna say, Omega Deltons. Thank you very much for your follow. We super appreciate that.
Oh, hey, thank you.
We love your support. Thank you for giving us that old follow button. And for everyone in chat, give us that follow button. We really appreciate it. It means actually like a lot. Like the follows actually are very important. Thank you. Plus, then you don't miss our awesome shows. Ooh, Lumberlings, Unfortunate Wood.
And Plunder mentioned have it be cosmetic about the seasonal thing. I mean, absolutely. I assume that that's something a lot of people will do is just be like, oh yeah, it's fall right now, so my leaves are bright yellows and oranges.
I super dig that. Cool. I think we're good for what we have right now. I'm really excited for the first wizard tree folk who has a woodpecker familiar that lives like in him.
That's also
excited for that.
There's so many cool familiar things you could do
now. Oh yeah, like the squirrels or whatever.
A flower with a bee familiar too.
What do you think about Lumberling instead of tree folk?
I think Lumberling is pretty good.
Well, you know, we're gonna put Lumberling / tree folk, and we'll come back to them.
My thought was like, as another option, just tree pole is good. I was thinking just like tree Floran, just like tree Floran, flower Floran, fungal Floran.
Yeah, we could.
Either way, we can come back to it. We can come back to it.
Yeah, so we're gonna just save this guy now. Race Floran, Lumberling / tree folk. And we're going to close them for now. We're very happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I am
So we're going to go back to our base plant folk here, or our Floran, rather. We're going to copy and paste over this. Cool. And we're going to start working on our second subrace. Pete, what's our next subrace?
Want to do flowers next?
Oh, I love the flower, Floran. Excellent. Flower. What are we going to do for the flower?
We have no ideas in mind for this one. Well, I think we have one idea.
Well, first, charisma. Let's start with the ability score. Start at the top, right? Charisma
for sure.
1. Absolutely.
Easy pick.
These are our fiend-packed warlock flower people. I love the idea of like
it's Flowey from Undertale.
Yeah, really. So reach adulthood at age what? Like 1?
I think the same as what we did for the tree folk. But then they live
10
a
to
lot
15? Yeah, okay.
nowhere near as long. And that's why it makes sense that they're all Florans. That's the binding thing about them.
Yeah, so let me open back up the Lumberling, as I think we're calling them right now. Let's stick with Lumberling. I like Lumberling because everyone calls their tree people tree folk. I like having that different name. I really like that name, actually. So reach adulthood. So one of the great things about this is we can just copy and pasta some of this great stuff we've already done.
Wait, are we on the...
We are on...
Oh, I'm on a different thing.
Floran and Flower.
Oh, there
Wonderful.
it is. There it is.
Yep. Reach adulthood by ages 10 to 15 and can live up to... How long can they live? Guys, how long do flowers live?
Flannel Plug made a recommendation: have them age quickly and then get reborn after you die of old age, like a perennial. Yeah.
I like
which makes sense.
Can live up to 15 years. So yeah, adulthood by age 10 and live up to 15. So they only live like 5 years. I think that. And then what did we say in the Lumberling? Most tree folk, Floran, take so most Lumberling. I'm gonna rephrase it. Lumberlings take root sometime during the first millennium. Blah blah blah. So yeah, what are we gonna call the flower folk? Flower folk. Floran who die naturally release seeds which allow them to be reborn again.
We have bulbs. We have a bloomling.
Ooh, I love both of those.
Bulbling, blossomling,
retaining
blossomers.
Of their
like all of these. Blossomers does have a nice mouthfeel to it.
Yeah, I love that.
Sounds like a Pokemon. Blossomer.
I don't want to use Ling because we used Lumberling. I want it to be different than Lumberling.
If we use Ling, then we got to do all of them Ling.
Yeah, well, I just... Yeah, if we're going to have 2 of them be Lings, they all have to be Lings. So I like Blossomer. Maybe we'll come up with a different name later.
Yeah, it's a good. I think it's a good at least starter placeholder while we think about it a bit. But I like that one too.
Bloomer isn't bad either, but Bloomer also is ladies' undergarments from the 19th century or 18th century. So we might want to go that way. Bloomy. Bloomy is kind of like Bun Buns from last week. Not quite to the level Bun Buns, but it's almost too cutesy. We'll come up with that. Flower folk Floran who die naturally release spores, which allows them to be reborn.
I think spores feels wrong for flowers. Yeah. I think they just like wilt and then I think it's more phoenixy where it's just like a baby flower starts to sprout from their dead body. Like
which die naturally.
I don't even know if it's like. I feel like it might not even be. I feel like it might not even be the same individual that's reincarnated. I feel like it would be more of like a. That's just how a flower gives birth. Is like from the kind of remains of the flower, a new Floran springs up.
Okay, instead of blurred memories, right? How about fragments of their personality?
Yeah, I like that too.
Because the idea, right, is they may not remember their past lives, but they're the same person as a result.
Yeah, I really like that.
I like that more because like the idea is we have the Lumberling, which can be ageless and deals that kind of dementia of I'm forgetting things because I'm so freaking old. To
I'm forgetting things because I'm so freaking young.
Well, no, to like this blossomer, right? Who just they don't remember any of their past lives, but somehow they're a level 15 adventurer from them, which is sweet. Like, and their past lives, it must have been pretty good because they're level 15 and they're good people instead of bad people. So I love the idea of like, in a past life, I was a great paladin, but I'm a wizard now. I'm still nice, still lawful good. I think that leaves a lot of cool roleplay space.
Forgotten mentions, I think they should have a pollen-like ability that acts similar to Fey Presence. Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page as you. I was definitely thinking some kind of charm effect for the Blossomer, as we're calling them at the moment.
Yeah, so, okay, we got age pretty much down. They don't live very long. Maybe we say up to 20 years instead of 50.
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah.
Class switching is currently not possible in D&D. Shrug emoji. Maybe if we go 20 years of D&D time and have a Blossomer that plays for all 20 years, then they can change their class. We'll make an exception just for you. Florans tend toward neutrality. Yep, totally cool with this. Races. So let's talk about race. How old are these? So these guys got to be way lighter, right?
Yeah. I think they are
shorter and lighter than.
I see. I was actually thinking them about human size.
Okay.
Because I think that puts them a little bit closer. Because I would like to have these Florans all be in at least like a general kind of range of each other.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm cool with that.
Because I like the idea that like I like the idea of like a flower being they're able to be like a flower Floran and a tree Floran like couple that could have kids, you know.
Let's see. So similarly sized and lighter than humans, standing an average. Oh my goodness, typing bad. Hands are in the wrong spot. And hit caps lock. An average of what?
We can just I can just look at the text for humans.
Yeah, I think the text for humans is very long.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so. They spend in the player's handbook. They talk a lot about like they put a lot of text into the descriptions of like race sizes, and then they have to develop guide to monsters sentence.
It's pretty good in actually this one. For size, it says humans vary wildly in height and build, from barely 5 feet to well over 6 feet tall. Regardless of your position in that range, your size is medium. That's all it says about human. So 5 to 6 feet. It actually doesn't mention weight.
Ranging from
5 to 6
to 6 feet tall and averaging. I think they're fairly light.
Yeah, I think so too.
So maybe like 100.
Yeah, sounds right.
For like a 6 foot tall creature, 100 pounds is pretty light.
Yeah, that's wispy.
To anyone in chat that's 6 feet tall and 100 pounds, you're pretty light. Sorry.
No offense meant.
No offense intended. So let's go back to what we added to flower power. Let's give them the rest of flower power because they all have the same flower power. You can go small quantity, fruit and spices in addition to its normal benefit.
Right. Carpocket says, my sunflower blossomer is going to be 8 feet tall. I mean, that's excellent.
Go for it. That's rad. I super dig that. Photosynthesis. Keep that the exact same. Regrowth. Keep it the same.
Keep it the same.
And what do we have for the first real feature?
So we're talking about a charm effect. Are you interested in going that route?
Well, I think the first step here, right, is they're a +1/+1 race. They don't get anything really special. We're not going to give them any sort of AC benefits or health benefits. So we have a lot of power. Ooh, budlings. It's a little funky to say, Farky, but otherwise I dig it.
Like a spellcasting suite.
Are we going to give them dark vision? That's question one.
I don't think I don't think so. I think that's something we'd want to reserve for maybe the fungal Floran.
Yeah, so let's jump into our race data. And let's start looking at some of the other races. Aarakocra, no flight. Dwarves, we don't need to look at dwarf stuff. I don't think we're going to have poison resistance or anything. After all, Weed Killer is super effective. No, elves. So, Fey ancestry. Are these Fey creatures? I think they could be.
I think they could be, but I feel like that's something we'd want to make all Florans, and not just like the. Or
well,
I mean, maybe not.
That, right? Because this could just be a race of Florans that was touched by the Fey. Kind of like how the Eladrin are more Fey-ish elves.
No, I think that could be cool, but personally, Fey ancestry as a player, I never get excited to have Fey ancestry. Like that charm advantage. Yeah.
It's just an interesting point of like, do we want these creatures, the Floran, to be Fey creatures or material plane? I'm personally cooler with material plane.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. Yeah.
I think they exist in both, but I don't think they came from the Feywild necessarily. I don't think there's anything else in Elf we need to really look at here. Furbolg has some really cool stuff. Like their ability to talk to, what is it, Speech of Beast and Leaf? Let me make this a little larger. You can talk with beasts and plants. I almost want to just give this ability wholesale to these guys.
To the Flower Florans?
Yeah, maybe. We'll think about it.
I'm thinking right now that I almost want to give that ability wholesale to all Florans, the ability to talk to plants. Like that feels very right.
Yeah, we'll come back to that then. If we want to put that on the whole race. I don't think anything for Gnome we need to really do. Or that we could really pluck. So let's look at Tiefling spellcasting, because I think that's where we were getting at, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm really feeling.
So
some kind of like spellcasting combo.
Something similar to this Infernal Legacy. So Tieflings set a template for spellcasting on a raid. And that template works really well. It just works very, very well. So we're going to jump over to our Blossomers. And we are going to stick it on there. I don't think we're going to call this Infernal Legacy.
Nope.
No.
Or maybe we will.
Maybe. No. What are we going to call this kind of this Flower Floran spellcasting?
In Floral
Breath
Legacy.
of the Wild. Ooh. That sounds almost too intense. I understand the Legend of Zelda joke.
Breath of the Wild.
Oh god, Floran from
in Floral Legacy. Yeah, I was on the same page.
I dig it.
Well, why don't we hold off a little bit and figure out like what we are going to go with for spells?
We'll put a natural tendency as a placeholder.
Yeah.
Because I like that one. So we get a cantrip. That's our first step. Super obvious, I think, is Grasping Vine.
I was thinking, you mean Thorn Whip?
Oh, Thorn Whip. Thank you. That's what I meant.
I was thinking the same one.
Grasping Vine's level 4, so we're probably not going to get that. So I see these Floran, right, as did I spell 10 at 0? I did. I see these Floran as like the lithe, kind of fast-moving Florans, the foil to our Lumber. You know what I mean? Are you with me on that, Pete? These guys are like the quick, more agile ones.
I'm with you.
And I think
very I can see them being kind of wily and using their beautiful petals and stuff to I was thinking as, for example, as a possible third level option. Once you reach third level,
we get a first level cast at second level, and then we get another second level. We can do third level. There is precedent.
I was thinking at third level. I was thinking at third level, giving a first level spell was what I was thinking, and doing like a Charm Person or something along those lines, or maybe Charm Person cast at second level.
Here's the thing: we can give them a third level spell. The Triton sets a precedent for that. as like being an okay option. So with their Wall of Water spell.
Yeah.
So that's an option. We could give them a 3rd level spell at 5th level that they can cast. It's just I think
when I said that, I didn't
non-combat ability.
When I said that, I meant the thing that they get at 3rd level, not a 3rd level spell. Was what I meant anyway.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I think we're looking at Charm Person, right? So Charm Person.
Do you want to do that 1st or 2nd level?
Oh, at 2nd level. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's fine. You just get to charm 2 people. I think that's better.
Charm
person
people.
Casting 1 person, not super impactful. I kind of see.
There's usually 2 guards. 2 guards is like the classic situation.
Ooh, I like Plunder's kind of suggestion here, going for, instead of darkness, light. So you can cast another spell. The problem I have with light is it feels kind of, how do I put this? Like
unimpactful?
Well, no. I think it can definitely have some serious impact. It just feels weird, right? I don't see this so much as I cast spells, more of I have this natural magic about me that makes people like me. You know what I mean, Pete?
Yeah, I'm on the same page.
And
so saying that a lot tonight, but we're very much in agreement tonight.
Yeah, the daylight spell's good, but I don't know if that's exactly what I want to go for. I almost want to give them fear, just because. It's just like, you've seen the dark side of the flower. Blah.
It's not strong enough, but locate animals or plants feels like it could be cool, because I picture them just like touching into the ground and being able to feel all the other plants in like an area. But it's not like powerful enough.
Too good bionic.
I think Sunburst didn't call it a day, right?
Oh, of course. Trying to think, are there any 3rd level spells that really do what we want to do? We could do like plant growth. Pretty good 3rd level spell.
Plant growth is cool, but like it feels like it doesn't have a lot of like use. I mean, I guess you can use it if you can get it for free. I'm thinking of spending a spell slot on it to like. It has a lot of utility effect too.
The thing I love about it is, in combat, it's super good. It actually is very good. Makes 4 times difficult terrain. Great at like stopping lots of enemies from getting to you. Another option might be like protection from energy, might be cool, but it's a little too arcane maybe for my liking.
Speak with plants.
Oh shit, you have to like revivify. That'd be weird. Mm-hmm.
The component, I think, is what throws that off.
Yeah, but we don't touch components at all in DnDTime anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hypnotic pattern. Hypnotic pattern's, I think, too good.
Yeah, I'd be really good with plant growth. I think if we're gonna go with a level 3 spell, right, based on the Triton example of Wall of Water, it has to be a relatively unimpactful, like non-damaging level spell. Because level 3 has some damaging spells. Fireball. Super huge. We're not going to give them fireball racial. I'm sorry, guys.
That would make no sense.
Are you cool with plant growth? I'm
cool with plant growth.
Down. I mean, I don't know.
I also did like
2 spells there'd be.
I was looking at level 2. The only one that I saw that spoke to me was locate animal or plants.
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense. There aren't a ton of like.
Yeah, I like the feel, but it's not enough impact in my opinion, especially because that's the only thing we've given them so far. Yeah. Maybe we'll give them more stuff, but.
And the thing is, like, another example we could do at level 2 is like aid, but that's so rote mechanical.
Yeah,
there's not a lot you can. Obviously, they're all rote mechanical. But
what about spike growth to go in with their thorn whip?
That might not be bad. Enthrall also might not be bad. The problem I have with spike growth is it's a very powerful ability.
It's very good, yes. I think spike growth is more powerful than like plant growth, which is the higher level spell.
Yeah, it's just they do different things.
Yeah,
I'm cool with either.
Well, the plant growth has the other extra options.
Both of them I really like, just because like they're rarely used spells, and I feel like giving them to a character for free it's just gonna be cool, right? They're just gonna like them.
Yeah.
However, they both
I'm okay
also
with
have
either.
the potential of hurting allies.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of an issue. That doesn't concern me too much. I think people will use them for the most part, in beneficial ways.
Yeah, probably. You're probably.
What are why don't we throw out in chat, like, of those two spells, which one would people rather play? Like, if you had to pick between Spike Growth and Plant Growth, I see Card Pocket already threw out that he likes Plant Growth. Which of those two spells would excite people more?
Yeah, let us know in chat. We'll kind of just go based on what we see. But yeah, I think those are both a great idea. We got a Spike Growth from Mr. Plunder Loot, spikes on flannel. So we have a lot more violent. These are like every rose has its thorns, is what we're seeing.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Right, I kind of love that idea. Spikes, but plants are better thematically. What if we call the ability thorns? No. So actually it goes Thorn Whip, Charm Person, which is totally unlike the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spike Growth.
Do we have... Now, this is unprecedented. Every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. This is unprecedented. Why not just give an option? You can pick either one when you hit 5th level.
We could.
You seem like you dislike that.
I don't like it.
Why? I know it's not something that is done.
Here's the thing. If we were going to do that, I'd rather give them both, and they can only use one per round.
I'm also cool with that.
But even then, the problem is I like Spike Growth, personally. I think Spike Growth fits a lot more for what we're going for here. For these kind of wily, live blossomers. The problem with that is I think Charm Person's a funky option for 2nd level. It makes me think, do we have a better 2nd level spell? Or do we have a 1st level spell that goes up to 2nd level better?
That feels more fitting on that theme.
Yeah, of the more like I fuck shit up kind of theme. Pardon my tongue. Hell, I'd give them Healing Word. Maybe. No, that
Ensnaring Strike.
I don't like Ensnaring Strike solely for the purpose that
good.
It highly incentivizes melee character or martial character. I don't want them to get a racial ability that's only good on.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I really don't want.
I don't actually know what Snare does, but I guess my concern if I see, the thing I liked about Charm Person though was that it felt the most flowery of them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we go, maybe if we invest, and maybe that's a sign that we should just do Plant Growth, because I feel like if we invest too heavily in the thorns, then we're just going to get everyone playing roses.
Oh shit, Entangle! I'm sorry, that's a great spell option.
Entangle is a very good pick.
No, the question here is, what does Entangle do at higher levels? Anything? No, it doesn't do anything.
Wait, is Entangle level 1?
It's a level 1 spell, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, will definitely be a little less impactful. So, because you don't get level 2 spell slot. So Entangle spell. And you officially, yes, again, 5th level, you gain Spike.
See, I don't know. I kind of miss the Charm Person. I like that kind of having that utility option in there.
Yeah.
And it feel, like I said, I think it makes the thing feel a little bit fuller.
Just undone everything I deleted.
I don't know. I think
like that.
I think plant growth.
You think plant growth?
I don't know. Like I said, I think spike growth would be more fun to use because I just think that's a more exciting spell to cast. But I think plant growth does a better job of getting across. Yeah, Bionic Shiba put this pretty well. Plant growth does a better job of getting across what the blossomer kind of we've been going for is.
Yeah, it's a very charismatic creature. I'm with the sunburst still, but you know that's fine. We can go with.
Yeah, I'm vetoing you on sunburst, Jeremy. You can all, when you all go and are like, man, we could have had sunburst.
To Constitution.
You can all blame Pete. We can give it a +7 to Constitution, but that's the highest.
Okay. All right. So I think we got this ability down. Thorn Whip cantrip, Charm Person at 2nd level. Great spell for 2nd level. And Plant Growth spell at 5th level. I'm cool with that. I think it's fine.
Might think about it more and come back to it, but
I see an option. People are talking about sleep at a higher level. Maybe. The problem I have with the sleep spell is like, man, the sleep spell can suck so hard. It can feel like just not an ability. It's really good at level 1 and 2. Once you get to higher levels, it's actually not too bad, to be perfectly honest, but I've been using it a lot in one of my home games, but I don't know, it's funky. People really love
Card
sleep.
Pocket says, fun. People are into sleep.
There's a lot of people talking about sleep. We got a lot of sleep coming up. We got Sheba, the Forgotten One, Plunder.
If the world likes sleep, I always thought of sleep as being a little bit too strong.
Sleep is like really weird. It depends super hard on what level.
Yeah, when you get sleep, I think sleep is too powerful, but it falls off very fast.
I think we could do that instead of the Charm Person, but I like the Charm Person.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Charm Person also scales a lot better than sleep does. Like, Charm Person will always be a fun thing to cast.
Yeah, you know, I like what Plunder's saying. Sleep for the fungal version and Stinking Cloud as their third
Stinking
level.
Cloud.
I like that a lot. I think that's excellent. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think the spores for the fungal Floran are going to be great for those abilities. Let's talk about this ability named Natural Tendency. Do we want to stick with that? It's good, but it's a little weird to me.
It doesn't seem exactly what we want.
Maybe like something about the rose, right?
I was thinking something along the lines of maybe thorns and petals, or.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I like that. What do you guys think in chat? Thorns and petals. Is that how you spell petals? There's 2 T's? I don't think there are.
I think you spelled it right.
I did. I'm so good. Guys, give me some credit here. Jeremy's the best. Do we want to give these guys anything else, or are we pretty happy with what they've got here? I
think they need something else.
Yeah, I think we could go to give them a little more, something else to give them a little more power. Nettle under the petal.
Well, to start with, I guess if we're going to think about what else they need, what else do you associate with flowers? Honestly, we kind of covered all the things that I associate with flowers in that chunk.
In that ability, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Pollen.
Like, we could give them something. We could give them something like Fey Ancestry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, Fey Ancestry might not be just a bad idea to toss on there.
But that just seems like we're just giving it to them because we want to give them something else. But maybe that's what we need to do.
Give them Dark Vision. Like, Dark Vision's not a poor option here.
Yeah, I mean,
a little funky. But
it doesn't feel on brand.
Yeah. What else would Floran have to flower? Don't be a prick. I don't think we're going to call that ability Don't Be a Prick. Advantage Diplomacy. No, I don't want to make
give them something that emphasizes their natural beauty.
Maybe. But how? Does it do that by casting a spell?
Oh wait, maybe a camouflage.
Oh,
maybe a blend in with natural environments.
I love that. A great example is on the twig blight. While it remains motionless, it's indistinguishable from a dead shrub. So I think we give it like a false appearance, but make it a little less powerful. Maybe advantage on stealth checks and the correct
advantage on. I would almost rather say advantage on checks rather than stealth checks.
Just any check?
Ability checks made to, because I feel like some people are going to want to do performance to be like, I'm pretending to be a flower. Maybe it's just stealth.
Yeah, I think that's still stealth.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was picturing people like trying to justify that they're acting out being a flower garden, but that's just probably not it.
Yeah. So do we want to use indistinguishable? And obviously it's not a dead shrub, but
I don't think we want to make it that powerful. Yeah, because that's just an absolute that I don't think player characters should have.
Gains advantage on. It's interesting how to phrase this, right? Because like I could see like weird deception checks.
That's why I was saying. Actually, while it gains advantage on checks made to stealth in, like, we could base it on more of like, the rock gnomes have it, advantage to stealth and checks in rocky terrain.
Open up the rock gnomes. Onto.
Or no, sorry, not rock gnomes, deep gnomes.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I don't have them open here because I hid them.
Party time. Pretty good blunder. Yes. We just arrived at the exact same spot. Advantage to checks when in or near forested environments. That's the thing. We just gotta get that phrasing.
Okay, so let's jump over to Blossomer. Wait. Blossomer remains motionless. So I don't even have to think that. I think it's just you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks to remain to hide in or near forested environment. Maybe we say natural foliage instead of forested to just give that a little bit even more read.
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
I like that, and I think that power gives it just a little more.
We wanted this to have a little bit more power on it because I think compared to the others, to the tree folk thus far, it was a little bit lighter. And I think that's
I still think it's a little light, but I think that's okay. Not every race has to be. Not every race has to be the greatest race there is.
Agreed.
Nothing has to be super overpowered. I think this is pretty good word. Do we want to use the word false appearance there?
I think we can.
I mean, natural form.
I'm just going to say natural appearance is even fine instead of natural stealth. I like natural stealth. I like natural stealth because it sounds like they're saying that they're naturally stealthy, but really they're stealthing in natural. It's a good one. I feel strong about that.
Do you really feel strongly about it?
I mean, I could be very easily fought on it. But let us know in the comments section if you like natural stealth.
We're going to keep natural form for now, and if people feel strong about it, let us know. And also, guys, let us know if you have a strong feeling about the name. Blossomer is pretty good, but I'm not totally sold personally. There's something a little bit off about Blossomer.
Natural blend. Also very good.
Nice. You gain a point of inspiration, T Forgotten. Congratulations. Great. So we got our Lumberling. who get bark skin, cool, and take root, cool. We have our blossomers that get
natural form and thorns and petals.
Yes, natural form and thorns and petals. And we are on to our third plantfolk subrace, which are going to be
Fungals.
Fungals. And actually, I should just make a copy of these guys real quick because we want to keep this in case we end up with a third subrace. But for now, we're just going to call these guys the Fungals. The Fungally Bottles. Cool. So Fungals. What the Fungals get for an ability?
Wisdom.
There's nothing else we could possibly give them, right?
Yeah, that's the one that just feels right.
Yeah, so I think wisdom.
Certainly not Dex.
Yeah, again in chat. Yeah, I'm with you, Plunder. I think we're good with wisdom. Can't think of anything else. Reach adulthood by age. I think we're still got to hit 10, right? We got to hit the same kind of age as the other Floran. And can live. You know, let's say up to like 30 years. And I'm gonna steal some text from the Kobold. And Mike, I'm sorry, not Mike. Hit me with this, but rarely do.
Oh. I like that.
And actually, I'm with Plunder here, saying 150. Give them like a fairly long-lived age. And the idea is like they live in the Underdark. This is an Underdark.
Fungals need a bioluminescent ability. I'm really into that for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So race are
Jeremy. I would like to take a quick break to run to the bathroom. I don't know if you need to do that, but I would like to.
Yeah, you know, this is a great idea. Let's take a 5-minute break, guys. We will be right back to keep on rolling out with the Floran, and then we'll finish up the last bit of the show. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm ready to talk more about these fungally Florans. How about you, Pete? Are you ready to talk more?
That's like the most wild coincidence. I was just thinking, I'm ready to talk more about these fungal Florans.
Yeah. Cool.
Do we have a doc yet? Oh, I see it.
Yeah, the Fungals. Honestly, I'm cool with just calling them the Fungals. I like that name. But
I do too. Fungal Floran felt very good on the tongue.
So we decided a +1 to wisdom probably makes the most sense. Oh, Card Pocket, you're doing our work for us. Oldest fungus in North America, something between 2,000 and 8,000 years old.
Oh,
can live, I'll say, far beyond 150 years, but rarely do. There we go. This kind of gives you can live as long as you really want, but you probably aren't. I like that. How about you, Pete?
I also like it.
We stick with the same alignment. This is one of those key little notes that ties all the Floran together. Let's talk about size compared to humans. I think they're shorter. I think these are the shortest Floran.
Yeah, maybe these are the little guys. And also and probably...
I think they're still heavier, though.
You think fungus? I always thought of fungus as being actually kind of light. I don't know. Whenever I just think of my experience as a child, like picking up mushrooms and thinking these are surprisingly light for their size.
Okay, I guess that's fair. And lighter.
They're very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very vacuous.
Yeah, vacuous. That's a great word. So rarely standing over how many feet? Rarely over 5 feet tall.
Yeah, rarely standing over 5. 4 to 5 seems right for this guy. I like the idea of the squat little mushroom dudes. How much do they weigh?
Though? Like 60 pounds?
Yeah, that seems good.
That's pretty light.
We're just, I mean, like, you know, we're throwing spaghetti at the wall about all these weight numbers.
Yeah, and it's the kind of deal where, like, these are ideas. No one has to, like, these are not set in stone requirements. Fungi are light, they have tons of air pockets. Yeah, great point, Thunder. They have the air. Photosynthesis.
So this is a question.
So all Floran get photosynthesis, and this is a big issue we ran into with these now fungal guys who really are different, right? Fungus are cold wet. I'm sorry, are dark wet, where regular plants are sunny and dry. Well, I guess still wet, right?
And what's the term for feeding oneself?
I've got no idea. What?
Do you know the scientific term for what photosynthesis is? Is it autotrope? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, autotroph is a producer, one that creates, and they are not. Fungus are not autotrophs. They absorb, dead things.
So I think what might be a cool idea for this photosynthesis is we give them the photosynthesis, or we don't give them the photosynthesis feature, but we give them like an ability like photosynthesis, but we give it a different name. Maybe like scavenger.
Scavenger, I think, works.
Maybe come up with a better name than that. I mean, chat, you're smarter than I am. Instead of indirect sunlight, in a dark and damp area, in damp darkness, you do not require food for the day. Once per day, you can take a short rest in damp darkness. Damp darkness is definitely not a term I want to have in the final roll.
Damp darkness.
The damp darkness.
In the cold dank.
In the dark underdank. Called Ron.
In dank darkness. But I guess the thing is like, that almost sounds like you're saying if you get food, you do not require food for that day. because that's kind of like, because they just don't produce, which makes, which I mean, logically it does track, but
in a dark, wet area. No, that just doesn't sound right. Damp darkness sounds awful.
I mean, Jeremy, maybe they just don't have photosynthesis.
That's like, I think having a variant on photosynthesis is a really core way to tie these guys into, right?
You're thinking of it as like,
as part of the Floran main race was our photosynthesis. And honestly, I want to have something better than the name Scavenger. I want it to be like, Underdark synthesis or something. But like with like an actual scientific name.
Jeremy, let me throw this at you.
Oh, good
if
luck,
you spend at least 8 hours a day in indirect sunlight.
No, what? Indirect sunlight?
Yeah. It's not like in the sun. There's still some light filtering in, maybe like a little bit, but you're not like fucking dunking in the sun like the flowers.
No. I hate that. I hate that a lot.
It's a quick fix. Because I mean, like, we're already not being true to what the fungus is by doing like a type of photosynthesis. So I mean, like, photosynthesis by definition is light. You take in light and you could just do, if you spend at least, I mean, that doesn't make any sense though. Just say if you spend at least 8 hours a day in darkness, but of course you can spend 8 hours a day in darkness because that's
called night. That's called night time.
You just do better at night. But actually, with no Pete just now, I don't think that was as bad as y'all are making it out to be.
No, I think it is. All right, so I'm looking at lichens.
Well, lichens are the plant, and those are like two different. Those are just symbiotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not like a great alternative. So like, there's not a word that sounds like photosynthesis, but isn't.
Noctosynthesis. I mean, I think just scavenger, and then maybe give them like, we just make it a different ability, and maybe once per day, they can eat a corpse and gain a D6 plus your level hit points.
Okay.
Over the course of a short rest. I think that is truer to what the fungi is, and then it.
So instead of direct sunlight, it is once per day when you take a short rest. When you take a short rest
on the body of a
you may
medium
consume
creature.
A nearby corpse
of size medium.
Oh, right, of course. Of size small or larger. I think it's...
Yeah.
To regain number of hit points equal 26 plus. All right, well, that's horrifying. Guys, this is
they're spooky.
I mean, they're
spooky.
We need to jump over race data right now, and we need to go down to something that has dark vision and see what the text is for dark vision. I don't have the text for dark vision here, so I'm going to have to find that text for dark vision.
I will grab that.
Okay, great. And then you can throw the dark vision text down there. So we're going to give these guys dark vision.
Yep.
Dark vision. Pete, you're going to get the exact text.
Yep, I'll get the exact. Light cantrip targeting themselves if we're doing the bioluminescence, and also just call it bioluminescence.
Yeah, let's give them a bioluminescence feature. The problem I have with Do we want to give them dark vision then?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It kind of contradicts with itself.
Let's consult the race data. Thank you, Cardwatch, for... That's a quote from Jeremy, specifically. As I said last week, not all races are created equal. No. Referring to Dungeons & Dragons races and their power levels. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Cool. So maybe instead of as a bonus action, you may emit sunlight up to 30 feet. Or not sunlight. Whoops. Dim light.
Let's see. Where is the one that we're working on? I found it.
Do we want to use that? Have them speak with spores. That's an interesting concept there, Plunder. Because we had originally thought about the myconids when we were talking about the fungal fruit.
Oh.
And our thought was like, that's a little funky. Is that really the direction we want to go? I don't know.
I think that's too close to the myconids, and these aren't myconids. I don't think you want to do that. I mean, I like the ability, and I think it's a cool ability. And maybe someday we'll just do myconids, which I'd also be into.
Yeah, but I don't think these guys are myconids.
Yeah.
So do we give them dark vision? Do we give them bioluminescence, or do we give them both? I almost think we just give them bioluminescence.
And not give them dark vision?
I don't know. I mean, maybe we can roll with either, I think.
I mean, the dark vision feels right, and the bioluminescence feels right. both of them feel cool. I guess it's just a question of what we picture them doing. I don't know. I picture them moving around in the darkness more.
Yeah. So I'm going to go this. So here's what I'm going to do. As a bonus action, you may shed bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. Light can be colored as you like. And
I mean, that's not entirely without utility.
For 1 hour or until you dismiss it as a bonus action. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I like this idea.
And I don't think adding both, I mean, it doesn't really affect the power level. They're the kind of, they end up being the same thing.
So here's a question. Do we want to use the term light cantrip here? Or not?
Light cantrip is 30. Is 30 or is it 20?
It's exactly what I just typed. I took the text off the light cantrip and stuck it here, pretty much. The difference is light cantrip can cast it on anything.
We could say the light cantrip targeting yourself.
Yeah, we could.
What are we doing for their abilities? Are we going to do a spell casting suite?
I think so. The reason I find it weird using the light cantrip is they already get a cantrip from Flower.
Yeah.
It's just weird to be like, have another cantrip. I mean, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's just a little funky.
Yeah. Maybe we just don't give them the bioluminescence. As much as, I mean, I like it a lot, but they already have the dark vision, and maybe it's just not...
Oh, you know what? This is super easy. Super easy, super easy, super easy. Pete, they get a cantrip as part of their spellcasting.
Yeah, well, that says...
Bioluminescence. It's going to be the light cantrip.
Light targeting themselves, yeah?
Yeah, just with a limiter on it.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump over to our blossomers. Switch. Adrian P, I see. Welcome here. I should feel like I have to let you know right now, our lumberling, our tree folk, have a +3 to their constitution.
Oh, yes.
That's just for you, buddy. All right.
And really, it's for everyone, because it works pretty well. So I feel good about that.
Come up with a better name than Thorns and Petals. So you know the light cantrip, which you may only cast targeting yours.
Where is my stuff?
Made the suggestion, fungal fire? fungal. Maybe like bioluminescent spores. And the light cantrip, you can only test yourself. At third level, you can cast. What spell are we going to give them as a first level spell at second? We had it with sleep. Absolutely. Sleep.
Oh yes, people wanted sleep.
I like that. I think that's neat. It's at least unique. I've not seen the picture in Discord, the forgotten one. Holy crap, there are a whole bunch of pictures in Discord right now. I'm going to have to check those guys out.
It's been raining.
Yeah, it's a busy day in Discord. All right, so sleep spell, second level. Great. And I believe the next one they were looking at is Stinking Cloud. I'm totally cool with Stinking Cloud.
Isn't Stinking Cloud pretty good, though?
Command or suggestion? Stinking Cloud is pretty powerful, so maybe we don't want Stinking. The problem I have with command or suggestion is I think we're getting a little too close to the Myconid kind of mind control kind of deal here, which isn't precisely, I think, what we're hitting on. If we do make Myconids in the future, I think we're going to expressly avoid... Well, I don't think that's what we're going for with these fungal. I think these guys are literally just mushroom people. Like, they are mushrooms and fungus and all sorts of things alike. Let's see, what did we have? I like this whole spores thing. Sleep works really well. I think
calm emotions.
You know what might be cooler than light? Might be dancing lights. Because if we're going for a bioluminescent spore,
yeah, that feels more Underdarky too. Which I don't know if these are necessarily dead on the Underdark flavor, but they definitely fit in there.
Yeah. Maybe calm emotions.
Yeah, it's
What did you just say that, Pete?
Yeah, I did. It's okay. All good, man.
What else would be super good? Calm emotions is really funky though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I don't like about it, it feels like I like the flavor of that. I can picture the mushroom people just being like, "Hey, calm down, man," and like releasing spores. But it just doesn't seem like where Stinking Cloud was too powerful. That doesn't seem powerful enough.
Pete, Phantasmal Force as a representation of like hallucination.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm into that.
Super dig that. Instead of Stinking Cloud.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Do we use Charisma as a spellcasting ability, or do we use Wisdom because there are Wisdom?
I think we use Wisdom.
Okay. I love the idea of Phantasmal Force of like, these guys literally make you trip balls. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. That might not be a bad one too, but we'd probably do that instead of Sleep. And I really like Sleep.
Yeah, I know people were feeling Sleep.
Isn't that the UA fungal name? I don't know, actually, what the Unearthed Arcana. I know the Spore Druid had some other funky features. I don't know if it had quite on this kind of level. It's not a fungal mancer, it's the Circle of Spores.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a race also, so...
Okay,
I think
yeah.
I'm okay with it being a little different. The Circle of Spores Druid is way more about basically creating undead spore monsters. Kind of like what the Mycon is. Anyway, I really like what this is right now, honestly.
Yeah,
you got little bits of light for bioluminescence. You have dark vision. Sleep is just super spory. Phantasmal Force, I super dig.
The name bioluminescent spores, I think you might want to. I think you might just want to call it spores, since they're all like different kinds. It feels like.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's something better than spores, but just calling it bioluminescent feels like it.
Yeah, you're probably right. It makes sense for the dancing lights. Doesn't make sense too much for the other.
Yeah.
I guess it could make sense for the other. Maybe come up with a better name than spores then. Sometimes you gotta kill your baby. That was kill your honeys.
I mean, we kept the bioluminescence.
Yeah, it's just in the dancing lights.
Yeah.
Scavenger, I dig. Death Captain Animate, evil fungal Floran paladin. Oh boy, I like. You see, this is great, right? Skill your darlings. Thanks, Farful, making me look a lot smarter than I am. No,
Kill
dumber
your
than I am.
darlings.
Anyway,
It's
something
a
I have to kill
good quote.
baby.
Sometimes you have to kill your baby.
Guys, I'm a baby. No, I'm not a baby. But I drink a lot of water, and if we ever find out that like water actually is a species that is intelligent, I'm a bad person.
Maybe. I don't even think you will be. I think everyone will agree that we didn't know, and it's okay. Like,
Pete, it's one of those
I think humanity
thoughts,
will
right?
come to terms. Yeah.
Regrowth actually used to go before all these S dudes. Anyway,
All the mess boys. We're talking about. It seems like one more thing.
We gave them Scavenger, which is a little more usable. Weird train of thought. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time. We're getting close to the end of the show where like we hit limiting returns, where things just start to not make sense.
We gave them dark vision, which is useful, but we also gave them dancing lights, which kind of dark vision and dancing lights, when combined, kind of negate each other to a degree. They're kind of they both offer power. They just.
I think we're at a point where they need one more thing to really be on a good level.
But I don't think it has to be powerful. I think it more than a ribbon, but less than.
Yeah.
Even
what else
like
would spores be great with?
What else, like, just in general, do? What about a well, I guess I'm getting into the. I was starting to get into the range of the whatchamacallits, the myconids, because I was thinking like something involving interconnectivity and the way the mycelia kind of spread out.
Resistance to poison would be really powerful, but probably appropriate. Yeah, this is where we're hitting a weird point, right? Where like poison resistance is really impactful here. We're hitting really close to the I don't know, actually, maybe not. For telepathy, yeah, we were thinking about that, Farful, but that's very much like the myconids. We're trying to stay a little separate from them because these aren't myconids. Honestly, poison resistance might not be a bad idea. I like that forgotten one. Kind of like the tiefling, right? They get fire resistance and spells.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but these guys are getting fire resistance, spells,
and dark vision, same as them. But then they also get regrowth, which is a ribbon, flower power, which is a ribbon, and scavenger, which is a little better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it puts them a little bit above the tiefling if you give them.
I mean, we can always drop scavenger.
I mean, I know you seemed like you were really into scavenger, and
I was.
It does unite. It does keep them united as a Floran in that they have that same kind of ability. I don't know. What about What about something? I guess that's also not really appropriate for DnDTime. I was thinking some kind of thing where the like mycelia can stretch out and act almost like an alarm spell, or like a spider's like web sense, but that just won't have impact in DnDTime for the most part.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little funky at this point. We're stretching. We're like trying to find some small little feature, but there's really not a small little feature. The small features we were looking at have been covered by scavenger, by regrowth, by these abilities that are Floran wide.
Central, yeah.
Yeah. I think our small abilities have been hit. It's just if we want to give it resistance to poison damage or not. If we do, it's a little stronger than the tiefling. If we don't, I'm not too upset. I don't really care.
I would rather err on the side of weakness personally, which sounds harsh, but I don't think this is like weak per se. I just would rather be safe. And I think they get some good spells too.
Oh, you know what? We could give them just immunity to disease.
Are fungus immune to disease?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe these guys are. Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
You know what? We'll leave it like it is for now. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's in a good spot.
I think so too.
The reason I'm kind of erring on the side of not giving it that extra resistance to poison damage is it's got some really unique spells out of its spell casting. With Phantasmal Force and Sleep. Especially the higher level Sleep. It could be very powerful. No, they're not immune to disease. Confirmed. Thank you to Forgotten One. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy here. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe if either of us are struck with inspiration over the course of them, before the next time we do brews, we can throw in a little thing and mention what we did. But I think this is a good place to leave it.
Yeah, so we got our fungal Florans, which are cool little dark vision creatures that can druid craft interesting little things, regrow their limbs, eat corpses, and have little spores.
I actually really like that.
I do too. We have our blossomers, which are our flower Florans. They have a bonus to their charisma. They have flower power, like all Florans. They have photosynthesis, like most Florans, regaining HP when spending a short rest in sunlight. They can stealth a little better in natural environments. They can regrow lost limbs, and they have some cool spell casting like Thorn Whip, Charm Person, and Plant Growth. Neato.
Yeah.
And we have our Lumberlings, which are our tree folk. They
really
are
into the Lumberlings.
Very unique. They have a +3 to Constitution from their ability scores. Okay, cool. We did something very different here. They live a very long time.
The Lumberling I'm really into.
I am too. They have bark skin, meaning their AC can't be lower than 16. They have flower power, like all Florans. Photosynthesis, like all Florans, healing in direct sunlight. They can regrow limbs if they lose them, and they can take root, making them immune to forced movement or being knocked. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Doesn't take up bonus action economy, which I really like how we were able to add take root without hoarding that bonus action. Because I hate the idea of this race being like weaker because it's like, this class uses the bonus action a lot, so it can't be that class.
I can't healing word ever because I'll never be able to. There's take root means nothing to me because I need the healing word.
Yeah, I like how we were able to put that on movement. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. We got 3 really cool sub races done for our Florans. I'm pretty happy with where we came out with Fungals. I think they still feel Florans. I think Scavenger fits in a very similar alternative to photosynthesis. Maybe it's not quite close enough, but I'm okay with it because it's a little more versatile.
Yeah. I like the I like some of the lore we came up with for the different things. I know we didn't have as much time to go into like what the Fungals are actually like, but that will be left to those of you who are interested in playing the Fungal and really like making it your own. You sound like you've just been all of a sudden struck by inspiration, Jeremy.
I really loved the Forgotten Ones, the Big Cap, as a sub race for Fungal Floran, as like the name instead of Fungals.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I think for now, maybe we should keep with Fungal. I really like the Fungal. I like that name.
Fungal. Big Cap Floran doesn't have the ring that Fungal Floran with its alliteration does. Fungal Floran. I don't know. It has a very satisfying mouthfeel for me.
I feel like there are people in the world that refer to Fungal Floran as the Big Cap, right?
Big Caps. I feel like there's a Big Cap clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lunduce, exactly. Same thing. Big Cap sounds like a good tribe name.
An excellent try. I love this. This is going to happen now.
Yeah.
And I think
that's it, yeah.
We're sticking on Blossomer?
I'm still not 100% sold on Blossomer, but I think we can leave it for now, and then yeah.
If we get struck with a wave of inspiration, we'll maybe adjust that. But for now, I think that's by far the best we got. Let's roll with it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. We've just about hit the 2 hour, or a little over the 2 hour mark. After this point, Pete and I have found that we really hit like a limiting returns when we're just going through stuff over and over. So this is probably where we want to call it quits. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. We super appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I thought we got a ton done today. We got 3 sub races ready to roll.
We crushed it.
Awesome.
We had talked about doing like a more neutral, like the herbal Floran. We probably won't go back and do more Floran stuff. So we'll probably just go with these 3.
The point with the Floran we were going for, right? The herbal Floran was what we got in Flower Power, the ability to grow fruits and spices.
That's true too.
A medicine bonus, and maybe we could toss it on the Blossomer, but I don't think we need.
No need.
Yeah. So like,
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Bionic Shiba, that's a great point. I'm working on an update for the website, which will include a way to like look at all of the cool race or class options that we've brewed up here in DnDTime Brews. So I think these are ready to roll. These are good to play, I think, as they are right now. Keep in mind, we may tweak the name of the Blossomer, but other than that, I'm pretty pleased with these guys. I think they're in a very good point. So yeah, they are good to go.
A brief reminder to everyone: if you see something here and you like for example, if you wanted to go back into the stream and watch it over and run one of these in a game coming up, they are fine to play. But also keep in mind that if me and Jeremy find that something that we did turned out to be very problematic, we reserve the right to change any of these in retrospect. So don't pick based on being like, oh, I found a really cool exploit with this thing that you made. Pick it because you're like, oh, I really like this, sub race.
Yeah, precisely. If you pick something because you're like, oh, this is super broken, I'm going to take advantage of it, it's not going to remain super broken for long.
Yeah, we're just gonna see that it's broken and we're just gonna fix it. So just keep that in mind. Put them on the DMs guild.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
I don't think we should do it every one, but like every so often, maybe we do this, right? We throw
maybe
these guys in the DMs guild.
We can release packs of once we get 4 or 5 races, we can throw up a chunk of races.
The Nerf guns are ready.
Ready.
Well, the bright side about Nerf guns is they don't hurt too hard because they're made of foam. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We super appreciate you all. Make sure to tune in, not Wednesday, because there'll be no DnDTime Talks today, but make sure to tune in for Friday's game of Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. It should be another great one. As always, Pete, I think we've been doing the last couple weeks have been pretty good. I've been pretty pleased with the last few weeks of D&D.
Oh yeah, it's been good lately for sure. Also, Delves and Brews have been fun lately too. It's all been good. Everything is good here. Wednesday, I'm just gonna throw out there now, and this is a no guarantees, but Wednesday I might try and do something. Either just stream something on my end, or just go on the Discord and just maybe just run something with a bunch of people, or just hang out on Wednesday. Since I have that time open. So, well, no, I'm saying to everyone,
you the stuff you need.
Oh, well, even if I'm not doing a stream thing, I was gonna say I might just hang out on Discord and run a game or do something with people there. So if you want to do that, message me and be like, yeah, I'm definitely down to do something on Wednesday, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and then of course next Saturday we're going to be doing D&D Time behind the scenes, where I prep for Sunday's D&D Time Delves, which should be radical. I think we're going to go back to a lower level one, maybe level 5 or 6. So it should be pretty cool. I like those lower levels a little more, where they got a little bit to play with, but they only got 1 or 2 fireballs. Should be fun.
Wait, what? Do you know what? Anyway, we can talk about that later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone for watching. We love you all very much. I'm Pete.
Well, extra special thanks to Omega Deltas.
Oh, yes. I always forget.
Or Omega Deltas, my apologies, for your follow. We super appreciate every single person everyone who watches the stream and hangs out, but especially those who follow. That's super important to us. Tell your friends, give us a follow so you don't miss any D&D time. And yeah, thanks a bunch for hanging out with us tonight.
Indeed.
Pete?
I'm Pete.
And I'm Jeremy. And this
is D&D Time Brews.
Take care, everybody.
Good night.